Karen Curry here, author of the #1 best-selling book, Understanding Human Design, here with your weekly Human Design Evolution Report. We start this week with more integrative, conscious energy that gives us the drive to take our expanded, humongous ideas and to implement them in a practical way. This is a really key time in the creative cycle. Within each quarter in the human design year, and each quarter has its own creative theme, and within each one of these quarters, we have little mini creative cycles. Last week was a cycle of getting things started, launching and doing. There was a real palpable sense last week of, this is a new era, a new time. We start this week with really looking at, okay, we had our launch, we got things rolling. Now let's go back and let's look at where were there problems? Where do things need to be tweaked? Where can I implement this new idea? There's always, following an active cycle in human design, a cycle of integrating and thinking and redreaming and revisualizing and envisioning things from a new perspective. So this is definitely a week where we're thinking, we're doing a lot in our head, we're really integrating our experience last week of sort of going out and taking action. A really important energy this week, especially because so much of our energy this week is focused on expressing the energy of the gate 15, which is the gate of the love of humanity. So as we're thinking and evaluating, our focus and our communications and the way we're interacting with each other is also coming from a perspective of what can we do for our fellow man. Compassion is the theme that rules this week, and we start with compassion in the 15, in the gate 15 in Mercury this week. So our communication until Thursday, when it shifts to the 52, our communication in Thursday is all about compassion, our fellow man, our divine siblings. We're focused on how can we help other people, how can we resolve the plights of each other, and how can we make life better in general for our fellow human. That energy in Mercury shifts on Thursday to the gate 52, which is the gate of stillness, which says, maybe some of the answers to these struggles that we're having right now with humanity and all the things that are happening with humanity will be resolved when we retreat and stay in the stillness. With the 62 in the sun and the 61 in the earth, there's a lot of head stuff going on. We're being invited to step into that still space. But we're not going to lose that 15 because Venus then transits on Thursday from the 12, the gate of caution, where she's been for a while, to the gate 15. And now Venus brings us a more focused emphasis on the value of caring for each other. Now, as we kind of look at this and think about this from a global perspective and a personal perspective, this isn't just about our divine siblings. This is also about your tribe, your relationships, the people around you. But with this big shift in this perspective with the gate 15 and this influence of the 15, we have to also be mindful of the fact that the 15, although it is the gate of the love of humanity, is also a gate of extremes. And sometimes when this energy is playing, particularly because we've got that 51 playing in Uranus, the gate of shock, the gate of in the planet of the unexpected, sometimes our expression or our misguided extreme expression for our love for humanity can have a cataclysmic kind of a piece. So, the thing for us to be mindful of collectively this week is continuing to hold a space for harmony, to hold a space for personal harmony and peace, and to give yourself that retreat to create peace in your own mind. But also, I would say very gently and lovingly, hold a prayer for humanity this week. There is this potential with the 37 in Neptune for us to be moving towards an era of sustainable peace. And for us to get there, it may mean that we have to take some things apart first. We have to become aware of the things that are not working so that we can create something different. And as all of this attention to the plight of our divine siblings kind of bubbles up into our awareness and spills over onto your CNN news page, be mindful of continuing to anchor in that quietness and that stillness of the 52 in Mercury. Anchor a vision of a peaceful world. Sometimes there isn't a whole lot we can do in the material plane. There's not a lot we can move and change until we shift first in consciousness. So, as all this change and shifting is happening, make sure you're taking time, whether it's the chaos of your own personal life or, the stuff that's going on CNN, take that time to retreat and hold a place or a space of peace in your mind and in your heart on a regular basis. it's good for you, it's good for the planet. It's what the celestial weather is kind of dictating that we do this week. We've got the 32, which is the gate of ambition, big ideas, especially big business ideas, playing out in our Mars. Of course, we also have this gate 32 now in the nodes, so we are becoming more and more expansive in the way that we think, more and more open to having bigger ideas, bigger possibilities, bigger things manifest. And so that goes right along with continuing to push the boundaries of what we believe is possible in our consciousness and continue to hold a space for bigger ways for us to create a world of sustainable peace. The outer planets aren't shifting that much this week. We got this energy that's continuing to encourage us and support us in redefining our personal stories. So, any stories that you might have that have been keeping you stuck and blocked, great time for you to, especially, in the shadow of this big full moon we've had, really great time for you to let go of any old stories that are not stories that you want to embrace for yourself. Remember the truth of who you are. Remember the story of who you really are, and move towards creating that story as part of your reality. We are asking ourselves, as we have been for a while now, what is our contribution to the world? What are we here to do? Continue to take steps forward in that contribution as well. Everything that you have to offer the world that is authentic and comes from your soul is vital to the creation of a sustainable world. Even if you think it's just a little tiny thing, doesn't matter. You being the fullest expression of yourself is the greatest gift that you can give the world. Remember that we are fully supported. Remember that we are in a cycle of everything being reborn and recreated. So as we are kind of working with this cycle and moving towards an expanded, evolved expression of being human, remember that the most creative thing we can do is to think our way into a new reality. We're working towards creating an era of sustainable peace, an era of sustainable resources. We're getting there. Don't pay attention to the details. Don't worry about how it looks. We're getting there. So one step at a time, one conscious thought at a time, one quiet space at a time, one peaceful place at a time. Have a wonderful week. Take some time, daydream, hang out in the hammock. Next week, we get back to work.